In this video, I'm going to show you the difference between thinking what your audience wants from you and knowing what your audience wants from you, because you're posting content for your audience, not for yourself. And so let's make this very clear. Knowing is always going to be more than thinking. It's always going to be more important to know something than to just think, assume, presume. And so how do you do this? How do you start to really understand what your audience wants from you and what they don't want from you, and how to stop thinking and start knowing this? Well, it's very simple. You first have to understand that there are 4 main pillars when it comes to understanding your audience, okay? And I'm going to get into them right now. So, first thing is going to be fear. Okay? Fear. Second is going to be frustration. The third one is going to be wants. And the fourth one, which is going to link to your USP as well, is going to be desire. These 3 things, as well as the desire, is going to link to your USP. And this USP, guys, is going to be so proven based on data and statistics that you will know that you know what your audience wants and you no longer think what your audience wants from you, okay? So this is the end destination for us, which I'll also give you the end template statement for the dream outcome. And by the way, there is a whole different video about this. I think it's like a 20-minute video on exactly how to create your USP for your offer. So the first thing is going to be fear. What does your audience fear of? If you're a fitness coach and you're posting fitness content, maybe they're afraid of not getting fit, of not putting muscle, of their wife leaving them, of their girlfriend cheating on them because they are just a fat little person. And so you have to understand that in order for you to identify fear, it is not quite based off of what you wanted when you first started doing fitness. This is obviously just an example for fitness coaches, but so let's say you're in the crypto niche. Your fear is just losing money by making trades or by investing into certain coins and never finding an end result to it, and you go bankrupt, right? That could be a fear in crypto. So what does your audience really feel? What are they scared of? Okay, what are they really scared of? So I'm going to first explain what these 4 things are, and then I'll show you how to fix it, and then I'll show you what the USP is, okay? So frustration. So why are they frustrated, right? Why? Maybe I've been trying this for like 6 months. Been trying for 6 months, no results. Let them open up. Like, why are they so frustrated? Like, I understand your fear, but why are you frustrated? Okay? And now, what do they want? Like, what do you want from me, from the coach? Want from the coach, or rather the creator. So what do they really want from you? Do they want to see more certain videos about how to do bench press right? Do they want to see certain videos on how to get more shredded? Do they want to see more videos about how to make $50,000 a day with trading? Do they want to see a video about how to get your first funded account as a Forex trader? What is it that they really want from you? Now, once again, you might be only aware of these 2 things, and you might be assuming what they want. You might assume what they want, and that is the worst thing you can do for yourself. I'm not saying that you assuming based off of these things is not going to help you make money and make sales from your information product. But what I will say is, if you have a clear response from an X number of people from your audience regarding each specific thing in detail, that is going to be way more leverageable, way more accurate, and way more inclined towards knowing rather than thinking. You want to start knowing, guys. Like, you want to know all these 4 things rather than thinking all these 4 things. Okay? So the last thing is going to be the desire. What do they really desire? I want to get rich, retire my parents, and let's say have 100 supercars, okay? This is obviously a very fantasized dream. Not that it's not possible, but, you know, just gonna say that for now. So this is what they really want, and they've said this to you, okay? Now, I'm going to show you exactly how you're going to get these responses from people. How are you going to find out their fears? How are you going to find out their frustrations? How are you going to find out their wants, desire? And then I'll talk about the USP, okay? So this comes down to a few different things, but it comes under the category of market research. And you've probably heard that term before, market research, and let me explain to you what that means. So market research is you asking your audience or finding out from your audience directly what it is exactly that they're currently facing, what they're facing and where they want to be, right? Problem, solution. And obviously you provide the solution, but you have to find the overall problem. And honestly, the overall problem is combining of these four things, because that is what they want help with. And then you find the solution, which is a USP, okay? So a few different ways you can do this is, first of all, I would say you would read through your comments of your value reels and your overall content, see what people are commenting, asking suggestions of, complimenting on, and then you can go through your DM conversations and figure out what exactly most people are talking about. Maybe most people are struggling to lose weight. Maybe most people are struggling to make more money with crypto. Maybe people are struggling with getting a funded account. Or let's say you're on the niche of real estate. Most people are struggling to comprehend what the best real estate money model is for them. Is it Airbnb arbitrage? Is it a rental? Is this and that? There's so many different things. And so you have to identify, okay, what are my problems? What are people really asking for? And at every given stage of this market research, there's going to be more than one response within each of these four things. There's going to be more than one fear, more than one frustration, more than one want, more than one desire. Okay, so keep that in mind as well, because this is going to be very important in formulating your USP. So you go through the DMs, you go through your comments, you can even do some polls on your stories, on maybe any private communities you have, any polls over there that ask them questions, directly asking them what they want, what they desire, what they're frustrated with. So you'd get direct responses from people, maybe a Q&A on Instagram Live, on TikTok Live, on YouTube Live, on a YouTube channel. Maybe you put a link in the description for a waitlist / market research form, which is what I'm going to talk about now. So what we do for all of our clients, well, most of our clients, is if we don't have enough data from their current info products, if they even have any, or just from their audience in general, and we have no idea as to exactly what the most accurate response for each of these four things are, we then put out a type form, which is a waitlist / market research form. So we pitch it to the audience as a waitlist for something like something big coming soon. But in our perspective, as the creator's perspective and as the team's perspective, it is, yes, for market research, but it's also used as a waitlist. So then we are not only showing people that this is okay, like you're going to get something big coming soon as early access, as exclusive offer, but you will also be on the wait list and we also get market research from you. So it's a win-win situation. And so once you post that type form on your several different social media platforms, your YouTube descriptions, your private Discord, your Instagram story, your Instagram bio, etc., you start getting responses from people, which in that type form, you should have questions specific to this. So what is your current biggest fear when it comes to real estate? What is your current biggest frustration regarding that fear when it comes to real estate? What is something that you want from me that I can help you with when it comes to real estate? What is your end desired outcome? Why do you really want that thing? What are you trying to achieve from that want? What is your end destination? Why is this so important to you? Once you have questions like this in the type form and you start getting responses from people and you go through the DMs and your comments, etc., you will then have a 100% accurate list of responses from people, which would then lead you to Mr. Know-It-All, which is what you want, Mr. Know-It-All, and not Mr. Think-It-All. And that is when you know that you are on the right path to then successfully start selling something to your audience, okay? So now let's get into the USP. This is going to be what's going to sell your offer, okay? Without a strong USP, which is revisited every couple of weeks, you will not sell enough over a long enough period of time. So every big creator, every big successful online coach, constantly changes their USP every few weeks depending on how people's wants, fears, frustrations, etc. change. Because look, once you get this sorted, right, for a launch or like the first version of your coaching program, you will then have a pretty solid USP that sells it. But there's going to be a point where you're going to realize, okay, people now want something slightly different from me. People might have a stronger itch to fix a different problem. Let's figure out exactly what that problem is. And so once you make a successful launch, you would then conduct some further market research in a very subtle way, maybe a couple of story polls, because now you have quite a bit of data, but data changes over time because your audience also grows over time, right? And so this is what you would do at scale. You would reach out to your existing customers and ask them personally or on group calls what they've liked so far, what they wish they got more of, and how they can get more value from this program, because that is going to be what you're going to use to change up your USP. So the overall USP statement, your dream outcome statement, would be, I help your target audience, I'm just going to call it TA, I help target audience with dream outcome, so outcome. And now the rest of this is going to be where most of the magic takes place. Without fear. Without fear or without something. So this something is going to be the main sell that sells. Because it's very easy to say, I help people or I help entrepreneurs with weight loss without lifting 7 days a week. That's pretty common, right? But if you look at your competitors and you study them and say, okay, my competitors have a certain USP, and I've seen a lot of these, but what I haven't seen is how I can help entrepreneurs working 60 hours a week with getting more shredded without wasting time in the business, or without leaving money on the table, or without scaling, or without having to stop working on the business. Something like that, this is obviously just off the top of my head, but something like that that is so unique, where your USP stands out so much, takes into account all of these things, sells, is what's going to really drive sales, okay? And this is probably something I should have mentioned earlier in this video, but you should also look at your competitors. Because when it comes to the USP, it is only unique, because U stands for unique, so unique selling point. It is only unique if you know what your competition is. Okay? It is only unique if you know where your competition is. Because if you don't know where your competition is, you probably don't have a USP. You have a SP, a selling point, but it's not unique. So this entire video, this entire whiteboard, is to show you how you can start knowing and stop thinking about stuff. Because look, my client base consists of dozens of people, of coaches, content creators, that have all needed market research, and that is never going to change. Any new or even existing content creator, any new or existing content, online coach needs to follow this at every given time. But with that being said, not every coach can do everything, because at the end of the day, the coach's job is to coach and create content, right? Coaches don't quite have the capacity to handle things like this, and this is such a small fraction of the entire operations that take place to conduct a successful coaching program or any sort of info product. And so if you're an online coach, creator, consultant that wants to partner up with me and work on a done with you basis, or even a done for you depending on what you want, reach out to me. There's going to be my Instagram below. There's also going to be a link to my website where you can apply for a partnership, and if it's a good fit, I'll reach out to you. We can organize a call and see where things go from there. I'm not going to tell you on that. That is just for you to conclude. And so I hope this video helped you guys, and even if you're an operator, an agency owner, like trying to help other coaches do the same thing, I hope this video helped, because you guys have to understand, if you want to make your client a lot of money, you need to know these certain things, these foundations into how to then sell something. Because this not only helps you with your USP, but it will also help you with the type of content that you put out. Because I've spoken about this several times in several different videos where I'm talking about the quality and quantity of what you post. But if the quality of it is not based off of your USP, then you're not quite making the right type of content. Make sure you check all the links in the description.